Trust and compliance, two of the biggest watchwords in the crypto space right now. Crypto exchanges may be working hard on providing proof of reserves, but traditional institutions are also raising their hands to restore health to crypto, because what they see is what we know. The technology is, and of itself, a valuable tool that derives too much value to abandon now. While the industry continues to be hammered by the fallout from FTX's collapse, we are seeing strong signals that institutional players haven't been put off by tokenized assets. Far from it, in fact. But trust and compliance are definitely what's at the top of their agendas. In October, Fidelity Digital Assets found that 74% of institutional investors are planning to buy or invest in digital assets in the future. Now, truth be told, that was before the FTX collapse, but still, big names including JP Morgan and DBS recently tested out trading tokenized securities as part of Singapore's Project Guardian. Run by Singapore's de facto central bank, the project aims to develop institutional-grade DeFi protocols. And in December, Mark Hiriart of the digital asset platform OSL told Forkast that while many jobs have been cut across the crypto space, institutional players are actually recruiting.
We're seeing big institutions globally, whether they're banks, asset managers, hedge funds, fintechs, they are looking to deploy resources to this asset class. They're hiring teams, they're building out compliance processes, they're hiring devs to support this.
We're starting to see a crypto brain drain of sorts, where once the best and brightest from TradeFi went into crypto, well, TradeFi is now tapping the best and brightest from crypto, and they're getting them. Of course, trust in crypto has been dealt multiple blows over the course of the last year. Terra Luna, 3AC, FTX, to name an important few. And the contagion continues. So it's not surprising to find that institutions are working hard on rebuilding trust and managing risks and wanting to take that lead. Don Doney of blockchain infrastructure company Securency told Forkast that ensuring tokenized assets are compliant with legal frameworks is vital.
Many folks lament the involvement of regulators, and especially the increased involvement of regulators post-FTX. They shouldn't. These are good things. The rules that they have are there for a good reason, and they are enforceable.
Regulators around the world are still getting to grips with exactly what those rules should look like and who should take responsibility. For example, back in December, a new bipartisan digital asset anti-money laundering bill was introduced to the U.S. Congress. And in Asia, Indonesia is working on shifting responsibility over crypto assets from its commodities agency to its Financial Services Authority. But whatever the rules end up looking like around the world, Dan says blockchain technology can be used to ensure assets are compliant.
It is possible, for example, to take the U.S. regulations governing private securities transactions and encode them in such a way that they can be interpreted by a smart contract, which allows me to automate the enforcement of U.S. policies on securities regulations. What's more, you can actually then combine those recipes together such that you are able to enforce very complex regulatory framework in cross-border transactions, peer-to-peer.
Dan says this is important as only the very biggest banks are currently able to enforce the rules on cross-border transactions. Much of this comes down to cash. In the past, only those with the big bucks could afford to develop the technology needed to make this happen. But it's also why leaning in towards using blockchain technology is such a no-brainer.
Banks pay massive fines for failure to enforce compliance. That can go away. I think the single biggest cost driver to banks is the cost of compliance. That will be eliminated as a result of these technologies.
The threat of such huge penalties means institutions are much keener to ensure they don't fall foul of regulations. The same is not true in the unregulated crypto space, as you know. And as we've seen with FTX, without auditable smart contracts, it's not easy to know exactly how your deposits are being used.
These are things that are actually not hard to improve in tokenization. They're not but they are a barrier to entry, and there are a ton of folks who've skipped those steps and are, I think largely almost across the board now, either out of the market or discredited.
Dan says the idea of investors carrying out their own code reviews to see how strong a smart contract protocol is just impractical. But innovations are coming. And still, institutions will play an important part and be at the vanguard of using accountability as a means of restoring trust.
What you want to have is parties who are both accountable, should they make mistakes, and informed as to what the rules and responsibilities are. That's generally associated with the licensing process, where in order to get licensed, you must demonstrate knowledge of the places where you can go wrong. That doesn't mean that people don't either intentionally or maliciously make mistakes, but they are accountable. What we need is a system that is both trustworthy and accessible. And that's what you get with what we would call institutional DeFi. And that's revolutionary.
Gotta agree with Dan there. Being both trustworthy and accessible are the critical blocks to rebuild all of this. All right, that's it from us. Another deep dive into where this industry is going. Like and subscribe to this video for more content just like it. And let us know your thoughts on what's happening in the comments. We take a look at it all, and we're always looking for good suggestions and input. Love the feedback that we're getting, and it's truly great to spend some time with you again today. I'm Angie Lau, Editor-in-Chief of Forkast. Until the next time.